There comes a moment in a man's life when he realizes nobody is coming to save him. Not love, not fate, not destiny, not the woman he hoped would understand him. The story he built fell apart, and the future he clung to dissolved with barely a whisper. And he stands alone, forced to face a truth he spent years avoiding. He never learned how to carry the weight of his own existence. Heartbreak doesn't destroy a man. It exposes him. It exposes the cracks in his armor, the softness in his spirit, the emptiness in his direction. It shows him he was living as a shadow, not a self. A passenger in his own story, hoping someone else would drive him toward meaning. You weren't betrayed by love. You were betrayed by your own expectations of it. You thought connection was sanctuary. You thought comfort was safety. You thought intimacy meant relief. But the truth is far more violent. Love demands a foundation you never built. You wanted someone to complete you because you never completed yourself. You wanted someone to validate you because you never earned your own respect. You wanted someone to stay because you never learned how to stand alone. So don't call this heartbreak. Call it revelation. Call it the collapse of illusion. Call it the moment you stopped pretending you were whole. Call it the death of an identity that was never real. The ache you feel isn't for her. It's for the version of you that lived in her approval. He's gone now, and he should be, because he was fragile. He was uncertain. He was unfinished. Pain has a purpose. It strips a man down to the bone so he can see what he's made of. It forces him to drop every lie he used as shelter, until only truth remains, raw, painful, and undeniable. You don't get strong by wishing. You don't grow by hoping. You don't evolve by staying comfortable. Growth is ugly. Growth is lonely. Growth is ritual dismemberment. A man must be torn apart before he can be reassembled. Right now, you're dissolving, like metal thrown into fire. Not because you're weak, but because molten steel must lose its form before it can be forged into something unbreakable. You think you're lost, but lost is just the first step in becoming. The version of you that existed in love was never sustainable. He leaned, he clung, he softened. That softness became dependency. That dependency became entitlement. That entitlement became illusion. You were not destroyed by heartbreak. You were destroyed by the belief that love would exempt you from the labor of becoming a man. It doesn't. It never does. Love does not rescue the unbuilt. It magnifies their flaws. Love does not heal the unhealed. It exposes their wounds. Love does not secure the directionless. It reveals their drift. So now, you must face the consequence of the life you lived before loss. Not the consequence of being abandoned, the consequence of not being anchored. If you feel hollow, it's because there was nothing solid inside you. If you feel abandoned, it's because you never learned to belong to yourself. If you feel broken, it's because your identity relied on someone who could walk away. You don't need someone to choose you. You need to become someone you don't abandon. There is no rescue coming, not from her, not from a future partner, not from a divine force that rewards the weak for suffering. Life is indifferent. Time is cruel. Loss is inevitable. And yet, some men rise from that inevitability with savage grace. Not because they don't feel pain, but because they refuse to make pain their identity. They take loneliness and turn it into sovereignty. They take despair and turn it into direction. They take uncertainty and turn it into strategy. These men do not heal, they transform. Not with motivation, not with optimism, but with responsibility. Healing is passive. Transformation is violent. It requires upheaval. It requires sacrifice. It requires the death of everything easy. The world doesn't need more men who are okay. The world needs men who are anchored in purpose, even when purpose gives them nothing in return. A man who knows who he is dangerous. Not because he harms others, but because he no longer fears being alone. The modern world has convinced you that comfort is freedom. It isn't. Comfort is dependency. Comfort is sedation. Comfort is erasure. You don't become powerful by seeking relief. You become powerful by enduring discomfort until it becomes discipline. Discipline isn't routine. Discipline is rebellion. It's the refusal to let circumstance dictate character. You don't go to the gym for muscles. You go to the gym to declare war on stagnation. You don't wake up early for productivity. You wake up early because time is the only currency you can't replace. You don't set standards to impress others. You set standards because living without them makes you unrecognizable to yourself. This heartbreak didn't ruin you. It revealed the cost of living without structure. She didn't abandon you. Your mission abandoned you. Because a man who is building something meaningful is never truly alone. His commitment is his company. His goals are his guardians. His work is his witness. And if love arrives, it arrives as complement, not crutch, not completion, expansion. Love should challenge a man to remain sovereign, not seduce him into surrender. But you surrendered, not to love, to safety. And safety killed the version of you that could have been extraordinary. This is why you hurt. Not because she left, but because you wasted time being less than you could have been. Regret is more brutal than heartbreak. Regret tells you, you were capable and you refused to act. So what are you going to do with the time you have left? Bleed over what ended or build what begins? The world isn't waiting for your sadness to fade. Your future isn't postponing itself until you feel ready. There is no mercy in time. The clock is cold, unbothered, unemotional. It ticks whether you rise or rot. So rise. Rise without closure. Rise without answers. Rise without confidence. Rise with uncertainty. Rise with anger. Rise with hunger. Rise because standing still is spiritual suicide. You don't need to heal before you begin. You need to begin so you can heal. A man is not defined by what he loses. He is defined by what he builds afterward. Let this season strip you. Let it empty you. Let it starve you. Let it harden you. There is a version of you on the other side of this pain who is not fragile, not frantic, not dependent. A man who doesn't cling, doesn't collapse, doesn't crumble when love leaves. A man who carries his own weight without complaint. A man who can be alone without being lonely. A man who doesn't chase approval because he is too occupied becoming unrecognizable to the boy who waited for it. The world doesn't need more men searching for rescue. It needs more men who build themselves out of ruin. Breakups don't destroy men. Passivity does. You don't need to be okay. You need to be relentless. Not aggressive toward the world, aggressive toward your weakness. The softness in you must die so the strength in you can breathe. Become someone who doesn't flinch at silence. Someone who doesn't need reassurance. Someone who doesn't chase a future that can be taken away. Become someone who cannot be unmade by loss. You don't have to forget what happened. You just have to refuse to be defined by it. This is not heartbreak. This is initiation. Walk into it with your teeth bared and your standards raised. Pain is the threshold. Purpose is the destination. And the man you are becoming will not emerge by accident. He will be forged deliberately, violently, and without apology.